Because you know what it never was? This. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about contour. Actually, no, this isn't talking. This is the ultimate contour makeup class. Keep watching. If you're new to my channel and you're joining me for the first time, hello, my name is Saj Mac. I'm a professional makeup artist in film, television, editorial, and beauty with over 15 years of experience, and my goal here is to help you simplify and perfect your everyday makeup routine. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty on an actual contour application, I'm going to be showing you lots of tips and techniques. I first want to talk about the why behind contouring. What's the point of it? So that way you have an idea of its use, why is it in existence, so that way you can apply it to what you envision for yourself and for your makeup routine. So the first thing about contour is to understand that it's not just about painting stripes on the face. It has a very specific usage and technique behind it. It's used to restructure and sculpt the face using shadow and light. If you think of the word contour, think of a contour map. And a contour map, as we know from geography, that is a map showing the valleys and plains on land. So it's the dips, it's the curves, it's the shadows, it's the light areas, it's the high areas, and think of your contour on your face in that same way. In the world of makeup, contouring is a technique that is used specifically to create your face in the gold standard of beauty. Now, please, no shots fired. This is a little history lesson so that you can understand the why behind contour. So ultimately, every contouring guide that's presented to you in beauty magazines and beauty blogs and social media, the ultimate goal is to resculpt your features into an oval face shape. Just like the tretinoin in skincare is considered the gold standard of anti-aging, an oval face shape is considered, this is not my take, this is not my view, okay, an oval face shape is considered the standard of beauty. So all of the contouring techniques that you see, how to contour a square shaped face, how to contour a diamond face, how to contour an oblong face, which is mine, all of those contour techniques is resculpting your face and your features into an oval. Now, if that is your goal and something that you want to do, then have at it, that's fine. But just so you know, if that isn't something that you want to do, if you like the shape of your face, then you don't need to follow that guide because it's taking your face into a place that you actually don't even want it to be. So of course, I have my own face in front of me. I'm going to talk you through my thought process on how I like to contour and sculpt my face and why I also don't like to contour and sculpt my face. I'm going to try and do this on one side. I'm just talking this through as I film, so hopefully everything works out. So then I'm going to keep the other side to sort of play with techniques that have been floating around social media and just sort of breaking that down further to help you, because I know that everyone's face shape isn't mine, and unfortunately, since I'm not working on a model, I do have to work with what I got. Any makeup application should begin with an honest self-assessment, especially when this is going to become your everyday makeup look, your signature makeup look. Really take that time to talk with yourself and say, okay, this is what I want to look like, this is what I want to accomplish, let's see what we need to get there. And once you spend that one day and that time getting that done, then your everyday routine becomes quicker because you already know what you're doing, you know why you're doing what you're doing, so you have confidence in what you're doing for your makeup application. Now, the other reason behind using contour in your makeup application that's not just pushing you to the standard of beauty, just from the basic fact that once you've applied a base to your skin, especially if you're gonna do a matte foundation, even satin, and I think kids are calling it cloud skin right now, But you'll find once you've applied your foundation and you've powdered it, that your natural features sort of get a little flat, and that's because of the evenness of foundation and also blocking that natural reflective light that you tend to get from bare skin, because that's a little more transparent, so there's more luminosity, so naturally there's more dimension. So because of that foundation base, it's always sort of helpful to do light contouring just to put that definition in. You're not trying to restructure, you're not trying to resculpt, you're just adding back in your natural definition. All right, class, now it's time for practical application. So I have my mirror and I'm looking at my features. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I have an oblong face, which is a stretched out oval. And according to the beauty standard, my forehead could do with some shortening along with my chin. So taking into consideration my features and what I would like for my face, I tend to usually add back in my dimension, even though I don't need that much, because if you see here, you can see my natural contour. So I still like to add a little definition in. My eyes are a little bit hooded. So what I like to do is add some definition in right here to sort of push this area back a bit, connect it with my bridge, and what that will do is add the dimension and lift to my bridge and also balance the little hood that's happening here. I'm a little bit snatched from my ponytail, but this little portion of my eye tends to sit a little lower. You can still see that extra fold that's happening right here. For corrective sculpting, I am not the most symmetrical person in the land. I probably am the least symmetrical person, but I do like to sculpt this side because my cheekbone here is more lifted naturally than this side. So I like to add a little balance for my cheeks. Now, what should you use for your contour? Should you use a powder? Should you use a cream? And I'm gonna leave that up to personal preference and your skill level. Obviously, a cream may take a little more blending, a little more finessing, but I think that in terms of contour, both cream and powder are very versatile in terms of layering and how much depth and pigment that you would like. Now, the color of your contour is what's most important. You are going to want cool tone product. Now, if we just look at my face right now, the only thing that I have on is foundation, and I did my brows. There's no mascara, and I'm wearing lip gloss. There's absolutely nothing else on my face. So whatever contour that you're seeing, that is my natural structure that is showing under the lighting. Now, if you look at the color of this shadow, this is the color that you're going to want to mimic. You can see it happening here. You're also going to want to mimic that color. And if you look at it on this side also, I think this is a better view. You can see that this is a clear shadow, and you don't want to start adding in anything warm or orangey or a bronzer into this space. You're going to look like you've been punched by the sun, and we know the sun has its own form of violence in the form of UVA/B. You can't blame it on the sun. You can blame lots of other things on the sun, but not a bad contour. I have some examples that I'm going to show you. This is a cream contour. I'm going to swatch this here for you, and you can see that mimics the shadows well. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to swatch a cream bronzer next to it so that you can really see what I mean by warm versus cool. And this is an example of powder contour versus powder bronzer, and you can see the two together. The intensity is perfect for my skin tone, but you can clearly see that this has a more ash cool for my shadowing. Now, of course, for your skin tone, you're going to want to get the correct intensity, but I'm going to tell you off the bat, it is difficult right now finding true contour colors. A lot of brands right now are marketing bronzers as sculpting and contour products, and they're warm, they just aren't true contour products. So may the odds be forever in your favor. I am just going to sketch where I would like my dimension to be. And I'm gonna do the same on the other side. And I am taking it right up into the front of my brow because I don't want to have a stripe or disconnect of skin showing in that area. So this is what our base looks like. Now, here's the thing with contouring. Once you start applying it and you start shifting your structure a little bit, things are gonna change. Things are gonna start popping out at you that maybe weren't popping out before. For me, the tip of my nose just got pretty bulbous. Now, what you tend to see is by painting little circles. Okay. I can't believe I'm gonna do this. All right, people are doing this thing here and then this little thing here. And while your initial reaction might be, ooh, that's snatched, what's happening is we are creating a bulbous tip. It's just smaller, but it's right here. And it is sort of lining up with my nostrils. So I look like I just have like a triple nostril nose. Because if I do something like that, then I would need to also place contour here and here to knock back some of that flare. I hope that makes sense. Back in with my contour, and I'm going to put this sketch back, and I'm going all the way down, and then I am going to go underneath to sculpt this side a bit more, just to balance my cheeks out, because this cheekbone sits a little higher than this side. All right, so for that I am taking a fluffy sort of angled brush. You can see here. Now, when you're contouring your cheek, a big mistake is people tend to go in this direction. You tend to go very low. And when you're contouring, the idea is to lift and sculpt. That sculpt is going to lift the cheek, which is what I'm trying to match over here. So a good trick is to find this little part of your ear and go to the top of it. Not the center of it, but go to the top of it. When you find that, take your brush and just go straight across, and you're going to find that you're hitting your cheekbone, but you're just above it. You're not under the cheekbone, you're just above it. Because you're using a brush, the brush is going to spread to a certain extent. So starting just above gives buffer for when the brush spreads on application to hit right on the edge of that cheekbone, and that is how you will get a lifted and sculpted appearance. So let's go ahead and do that. This is my little spot right here. And I am just sketching that shape in. Now I'm going to go a little bit under my cheek. And you can see we already have a more lifted cheek area to balance with this side. Now that we're on the cheek, let's talk about another contour technique that is gaining popularity, and that is contouring like this. Why are you guys doing this? Now, I get the reasoning behind this. However, you guys are taking techniques and not realizing where the techniques are taken from. This is a theatrical sculpting technique that is used on male characters because what it does, it gives a chiseled jawline. You can see it squares this part out, it gives it a rough angle, and then from far, when you're on stage, it gives a strong and chiseled look. That's the only reason behind sculpting like this. This is also a technique that I still use in film and TV on my male actors, again for that chiseled jaw. So the only thing that contouring like this does for you is giving you a strong masseter muscle. Strong. If that's what you want, have at it. If you're getting Botox yearly to soften the masseter muscle, then you should not be contouring because you're ruining your Botox. You're ruining your corrective work by putting the problem right back in. Next is the chin. As I mentioned, I like to shorten my chin a little bit. Now for my forehead, I absolutely can use contour for my forehead, but I actually like to use bronzer on my forehead because my forehead gets hit from the sun, and using bronzer gives me a beautiful bronzy glow because bronzer goes in the opposite places of your contour. Your contour goes into the hollows and into the shadows, and your bronzer goes everywhere the light touches. Mufasa taught us this, that your bronzer goes everywhere the light touches, not in any of those shadowy places. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he told Simba. Right. Now, another popular contour technique, this is not something that I need, but I do want to talk about it if it's something that you feel like you need, is contouring here to further lift the eye. What that is going to do, it will pull the eye up some, but it will also push in the temple. And then if I do that, pushing in the temple will make my forehead seem even bigger, and I don't want to do that. Let's put a little bit on this side because we know this is my more lifted side, and let's see if it helps give me even more balance on this side, because this brow also sits lower than this one. That's a whole other thing. Like I said, guys, the most unsymmetrical person. So I'm just taking that fluffy brush again, the same cream contour, and I'm just going in. And of course, going in with a brush helps make it easier. You may have to do a couple layers, but at least you have more control over your placement and your product application, because just going straight in with the product, you might have put too much and then you're stressing to like get everything blended, and then you're rushing, and then you're like, oh my gosh. So definitely using a brush will help you. What do you guys think? Do you feel like that helped lift my eye to balance a bit more on this side? Let me know in the comments. And if you are enjoying this tutorial so far, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, a like, and leave a comment letting me know your thoughts if you're enjoying this tutorial, so that I can continue making more for you. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in with my bronzer to show you the difference in placement of your bronzer versus your contour. Taking a fluffy powder brush, and the first place I'm going to go at is of course my forehead, and I am just going to buff this in to make it nice and blended. And you can see the warmth is already happening. It's a completely different tone from our contour. This is not yet blended. Calm down, don't drag me. Just want to show you because the light is hitting it perfectly right now. I really hope that it's being picked up on this camera. Don't let me down, Nikon. You can see the difference in the warmth on my forehead and that cool ashy tone in my cheek. And that's it. That's the end of this lesson. That's it. Class dismissed. No, don't go. Don't go, stay. Okay, let's do the bronzer. Next, bronzer on my cheeks. And here's how you're going to apply it. Exactly like blush. Your blush placement, because again, this is where the sun is going to hit you. The sun isn't going up in there. She's right here. She's here. She's all of this. Residual rays bouncing off, happening right here. And this beautiful cheek area. I also like to take a little bit of my bronzer and just wash it over my eyes, because that sort of holds all of the tones together a bit more. That's a little makeup technique to help keep all of the different tones in my face married together in a beautiful relationship. All right, let's finish up with a little mascara, contour powder, and I'm going to do a little definition underneath my eye. This is also a great technique if you want to have a little dimension under there, but you don't want the heaviness of using an eyeshadow. You know what? While we're on the topic of eyeshadow, fun fact, some of your best contour colors are gonna actually be eyeshadow colors. So if you are having trouble finding a true contour shade in the right intensity for your skin tone, have a look at some single eyeshadow shades. There are quite a few eyeshadows tend to have a little more ash in them because of the color ranges that they make them in. That's also an amazing spot to find a contour shade. Don't tell anyone I told you that, okay? Shh. Secret. And while I still have you, let's have a little fun with it. I'm going to take a small lip brush and again my cream contour, and I am going to define my lips a little bit to have a little pout, and I am going right underneath my lip. If you see right here, I'm like trying to talk and not talk. Right here, there's already the beginning of that little shadow that gives you that center pout. I'm just going to emphasize that some more. Now please don't go overboard with this. Don't go overboard with any of your contouring. Don't take it to the point where you're seeing stripes and then someone goes, oh my gosh, I love your contour, girly. That's not it. You just want to hear, oh my gosh, you look amazing. Oh, I love your lips. Oh, what lipstick are you wearing? You're not even wearing lipstick because it's just the luscious lips. All makeup compliments, I firmly believe, should go to you. You should just be told how amazing you look, how beautiful you look. Maybe outside of eyelashes, you know, someone saying, oh, your eyelashes are so long. What mascara are you wearing? Like that, I'll take. But if someone says to me, oh, I like your contour. Oh, what are you wearing? Then I feel like I haven't done a good job. Soften that a bit. And I wouldn't take it here because what it actually will look like in person is a little teeny tiny mustache, like a little French mustache, and no. And this is my final look. It is sculpted, it is bronze, it is most importantly natural looking, and this will look fantastic in natural light. And if you want to continue learning more on perfecting your everyday makeup routine, check out this next tutorial. And of course, if you have any more contour questions for me, leave them in the comments. I am absolutely happy to do a how to contour part 2. Thanks for watching. Bye.